I died, choking on my own blood, the metallic tang flooding my mouth as the truck's grill smashed into my side at 60 miles an hour. The last thing I saw was my sister's smug face in the rearview mirror of her stolen BMW. The one our parents had gifted her like she was the golden child, and I was the afterthought. But death. It wasn't the end, it was a goddamn reset button, slamming me back into my 22-year-old body, heart pounding in that cramped apartment on the outskirts of Seattle, 3 years before the crash that should have erased me forever. My name is Nova Hale, and if you think reincarnation is some poetic bullshit about second chances and finding inner peace, you're dead wrong. It's rage distilled into every heartbeat, every breath that tastes like opportunity laced with venom. I woke up gasping on that lumpy futon, the alarm clock blinking 6:47 a.m. in angry red digits. The same morning I dragged myself to my dead-end barista gig at the corner Starbucks in Capitol Hill. My hands flew to my ribs, no cracked bones, no phantom ache from the impact. Just smooth skin under the threadbare tank top I'd worn to bed after another screaming match with my folks over the phone. "Nova, you're being dramatic," Mom had said, her voice syrupy with that fake concern she reserved for PTA meetings. "Your sister's just gifted. You need to support her dreams." Support her dreams. Yeah, right. In my first life, or whatever the hell you call the timeline where I ended up roadkill, I'd supported them straight into the grave. That $2 bill? It was the cherry on top of a lifetime of scraps. Dad's will, readout in that stuffy lawyer's office in Bellevue, had spelled it out. The house to Mom, the savings to my sister Riley, and for me, $2, taped to a note that read, "For your coffee habit, keep grinding." The family laughed it off as a joke, but I saw the truth in their eyes. I was the black sheep, the one who dared to question why Riley got the free ride through UW, while I scraped by on community college loans and tips from caffeine addicts. That night, at 2 a.m., I'd stormed out, keys in hand, vowing never to look back. Cut all ties, blocked numbers, deleted emails, ghosted the whole toxic circus. Freedom tasted like rain-soaked freedom fries from the McDonald's drive-thru, until Riley decided she needed one last sisterly chat. She tracked me down to my shitty studio in Fremont, all apologies and crocodile tears, begging me to come back for family unity. I should have seen the trap. But blood's thicker than suspicion. Or so they say. She lured me into that BMW, her precious chariot, and on a foggy stretch of I-5, she swerved. Just a little scare, she later confessed to the cops. But the skid marks and the witness statements painted a different picture. Vehicular assault, wrapped in a bow of sibling rivalry. The truck that finished me? Collateral in her botched revenge for me daring to walk away. Now, here I was, alive again. The universe's cruel prank or cosmic do-over. I didn't care. The betrayal burned fresh, like I'd just ripped off a scab. Riley was 25 in this timeline, still playing the victim card at her startup job in tech, some bullshit app for rich millennials to track their kombucha habits. Mom and Dad were in their prime denial phase, hosting barbecues in their sprawling backyard in Medina, pretending our family's fractures were just quirky imperfections. But I knew the secrets buried under that manicured lawn, Dad's affair with his secretary that Mom swept under the rug for the sake of appearances, Riley's coke habit she'd hidden by framing me for stealing her jewelry back in high school, and the big one, the real reason I'd been iced out since puberty. My accident at 14. The one where I woke up in Harborview with a concussion and no memory of the fall down the stairs. Riley's handiwork, of course, to cover for the fact that she'd been the one rifling through Dad's safe. And I'd caught her. I swung my legs off the futon, feet hitting the cold linoleum that smelled faintly of yesterday's ramen. My phone buzzed, text from Mom. Sweetie, dinner tonight? Riley's bringing her new boyfriend, tech bro. Total catch. I deleted them without a second thought. This time, no playing nice. No swallowing the bile of their favoritism. Revenge wasn't a sprint. It was a marathon of calculated cuts, each one deeper than the last. First up, the mirror. My reflection stared back, wild dark curls framing hazel eyes that now held a predator's glint. 22. Broke as hell, but armed with 3 years of foreknowledge. I knew the stock tips that would tank Riley's genius investments, the emails that would expose Dad's side hustle, the whisper network at Mom's yoga studio that hid her own little Ponzi scheme with the wine club. I pulled on jeans and a hoodie, the Seattle drizzle already pattering against the window like impatient fingers. Coffee first, black. No sugar. The way I'd learned to drink it after the crash, when sweetness turned my stomach. As I stirred in the grounds, memories flooded. The funeral, sparsely attended. Mom wailing theatrically while Riley stood stone-faced, inheriting my life insurance payout like it was her due. Nova always wanted me to succeed, she'd sobbed to the eulogist. Lies. All of it.
But now?
I'd rewrite the script. The bus ride to work was a blur of hipsters and homeless vets. The cityscape of evergreens and glass towers mocking my past naivety. At Starbucks, I clocked in early, flashing a smile at my manager, Tina, who in the old timeline had been my only ally before she got canned for attitude.
Nova.
You look different today, she said, eyeing me over her reading glasses. Like you finally slept. Something like that, I replied, tying on my apron. Different? Hell. I was reborn. As the line formed, laptop warriors demanding oat milk lattes, I plotted. Step 1. Document everything. I'd start a burner journal app. Time-stamped entries of every slight, every joke that masked malice. Evidence was my new god. By noon, I'd served enough overpriced caffeine to fund a cheap recorder from the dollar store down the block. Hidden in my pocket, it'd catch the golden nuggets, Riley's casual brags about Dad's loans, Mom's passive-aggressive digs at my choices. Lunch break hit, and I scarfed a stale bagel in the alley. Rain mixing with the Puget Sound mist. My phone lit up again, Riley this time. Hey sis, wanna grab drinks after your shift? Miss you. The words twisted like a knife. In the before, that drink had been code for her dragging me into her orbit, plying me with cheap tequila until I spilled secrets she could weaponize. This time, I'd flip it. Sure. I texted back. Fingers steady. That dive bar on Pike? 8 p.m.? Her reply was instant. Yes. Can't wait to catch up. Life's been wild. Wild. Understatement. I knew the timeline. By month's end, she'd accidentally total her leased Audi, Daddy's money. Of course, and parlay that into a GoFundMe that netted her 5 figures from gullible aunts. But not this round. I'd be there, recorder humming, listening for the cracks in her facade. The afternoon dragged. A parade of small talk and steam wand hisses. But my mind raced ahead.
Trùng sinh, debit.
They call it in those Vietnamese novels I'd binge read during late-night shifts. For me, it was resurrection with teeth. I wasn't just surviving, I was dissecting the family from the inside out. Dad's construction firm, riddled with kickbacks from shady contractors, I'd tip off the right OSHA inspector. Mom's charity events, embezzlement disguised as goodwill, a quiet word to the IRS would unravel that sweater. And Riley.
Oh,
Riley. The queen of calculated chaos. Her tech bro boyfriend, Chad, Barf, was already dipping into crypto scams. I'd nudge him toward the feds with anonymous breadcrumbs. By 7 p.m., I was out the door, the city lights smearing into halos through the wet windshield of the bus. The dive bar, the rusty anchor, squatted on pike like a forgotten relic, neon sign flickering, open, over peeling paint and the perpetual haze of stale beer. I claimed a booth in the back, ordered a whiskey neat to steady the adrenaline, and waited. Riley breezed in at 8:05, all blonde highlights and yoga pants, the kind of effortless beauty that came with trust funds and personal trainers. "Nova," she squealed, air-kissing my cheeks.
God.
"You look exhausted." Still slinging coffee. "Keeps the lights on," I said, forcing a grin. The recorder in my bra pressed cold against my skin. A talisman. We ordered rounds, hers a cosmopolitan, mine staying sober, and she launched into her monologue, the boyfriend, the promotion, the drama with her roommate. I nodded, laughed in the right places, but my ears strained for the tells. And there it was, halfway through her second drink. "You know, Mom and Dad are driving me nuts." "Dad's all. Riley, focus on your career." But like, "Hello? I need that new laptop for the app pitch." "Think you could spot me?"
Just till payday.
Spot her. The same line she'd fed me 100 times. The one that left me overdrawn and her flush. In the old life, I'd caved, wiring $200 I didn't have.
Now,
"Riley, I'm good, but tight. Maybe hit up Dad? He just dropped, what, $10K on your gym membership." Her laugh was a tinkling bell, but her eyes sharpened.
oh, come on.
"Your family. And hey, remember that time you borrowed my earrings and..." "Borrowed," I cut in, voice light as air. "You mean the ones I found in your drawer after you accused me of theft?"
Yeah.
Vivid memory. The booth went quiet, the jukebox crooning some forgotten Springsteen tune. Riley's smile faltered. Just a hair. But I caught it, the flicker of the serpent beneath the sister act.
Nova.
That's ancient history. We're past that. Were we? I leaned in, the whiskey's burn mirroring the fire in my gut. "Because it feels like yesterday." She recovered quick, pivoting to safer ground. Work gossip.
Celebrity scandals.
But the seed was planted. As we hugged goodbye outside, her perfume clinging like regret, I whispered into the night, "This is just the beginning, sis." Back on the bus, rain lashing the windows, I replayed the tape.
Gold.
Her casual admission of Dad's gifts, the subtle dig at my job, it was all there, threads to pull. Sleep came fitful that night. Dreams tangled with screeching tires and Riley's laughter echoing like thunder. Dawn broke gray. And with it, Phase 2, infiltration. I called in sick to Starbucks, first time ever, and hit the library, commandeering a computer with a VPN to mask my tracks. Searches on Dad's firm, Hale Construction, LLC. Public records spilled like confetti, permits fast-tracked, fines mysteriously dropped. A quick dive into Riley's LinkedIn. Her startup was a ghost. No funding, just buzzwords and stock photos. Chad's profile? A trail of failed ventures, from NFT flips to pyramid scheme coaching. I bookmarked it all, building my arsenal. By noon, hunger gnawed, but I pushed through to the coffee shop across from Mom's yoga studio in Ballard. perched with a latte. I watched her swan in Lululemon everything, chatting up the soccer moms like she owned the joint. The wine club scam. She'd been investing dues into a vineyard that didn't exist. Pocketing the checks. I knew because, in the before, she'd roped me into volunteering, only to blame me when the checks bounced.
Today.
I snapped photos discreetly, noting the license plates of her marks. The confrontation brewed in my veins like strong espresso. But patience, that's the American way, isn't it? Slow burn justice. A la every true crime podcast from coast to coast. I headed home, stopping at a pawn shop for a burner phone. $20 well spent. First call, an old contact from community college, Jake, who'd gone into journalism.
Nova.
Holy shit. Long time. What's up? Research favor, I said, voice casual. Ever hear whispers about hail construction? Safety shortcuts. Maybe, he chuckled. You're stirring the pot.
Huh? Gimme a day.
It was done. The web spun. That night, as sirens wailed distant through my window, I lay awake, the weight of tomorrow pressing down. Riley's next move? She'd text. Probing. Maybe even apologize with a coffee gift card. I'd accept. Draw her closer. Trust was the sharpest blade, after all. But deep down, a sliver of doubt wormed in. What if this rebirth was a curse? What if unraveling them unraveled me too? I shoved it aside. No room for weakness. Not when the crash replayed in my skull like a horror reel. This time, I'd be the one swerving. Weeks blurred into a calculated haze. Each day a step deeper into the viper's nest. I quit Starbucks on a whim. Personal reasons, I told Tina, slipping her an envelope with my last tips and a note. Thanks for seeing me. Don't let them grind you down. She hugged me tight, whispering, whatever you're chasing,
Nova.
run hard.
I did.
Armed with foreknowledge, I pivoted to freelance gigs, ghostwriting for tech blogs, the kind Riley pretended to run. Irony tasted sweet as I cashed checks under her byline, funneling the cash into a high-yield savings no one could touch. Riley's texts escalated, playful at first, then laced with urgency. Mom's stressed about the holidays. Family dinner? Please? I played coy, doling out yes like breadcrumbs. The dinner was at the Medina house. That beige monstrosity with its 3-car garage and koi pond Dad swore made us upscale. I arrived fashionably late, hair tamed into waves. Thrift store dress hugging curves I'd forgotten I had. Confidence. My new armor. They were mid-laugh when I walked in, Riley perched on Chad's knee. Mom fluttering with a charcuterie board, Dad nursing a scotch by the fireplace.
Nova.
Mom trilled, air kissing like we were Europeans. You look mature. Life does that, I replied, eyes locking on Riley's. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes, the same cold blue as the day she'd floored it on I-5. Dinner was a minefield of small talk, Chad's disruptive app, Uber for dog walkers. Yawn. Riley's big pitch next week. Mom's wine club expanding. I nodded, forked salmon, and waited. The bomb dropped over dessert, apple pie a la mode, Dad's specialty. So, Nova, he boomed, wiping his mouth. What's your plan? Still. Experimenting. Code for get a real job. Unlike your sister. In the before, I'd mumbled something about graphic design school, earning pitying pats.
Now?
I set down my spoon, Voice steady. Actually,
Dad. I've been freelancing.
tech writing. Pays better than you think. Riley snorted into her wine. Tech writing? Like,
Blog? Q.
Chad chuckled. The bro code echo. Mom shot her a look. Riley, that's wonderful. Honey. Nova's always been creative. Creative. The word hung. Loaded. I leaned forward, smile razor sharp. Speaking of creative, Riley, how's that app coming? Last I heard.
You were bootstrapping.
Need a co-writer? I could punch up your white paper. Her fork paused midair. Pie dripping.
Oh.
We're good. Chad's handling the tech side. Right, I said, glancing at him. Crypto integrations? Bold move. With the market dipping. Though, timing's everything. Chad's laugh died. You follow crypto? Enough to know when to fold. I sip my water. The table thickening with unspoken tension. Dad cleared his throat. Nova. Pass the cream? I did. But not before murmuring to Riley. Low enough for her ears only. Heard about your last investment. NFTs?
Ouch.
Her eyes flashed bingo. She'd lost 5 grand on pixelated apes 6 months back. A secret she'd buried under Instagram flexes. The rest of the night crawled. Board games they insisted on, Monopoly. Because irony. Where Riley bankrupted me, accidentally, for the 3rd time. I let her. Biding time. Recorder app, open on my hidden phone under the table. Driving home in the borrowed Civic from Jake. Payment for my research. I dissected the audio. Gold again. Dad's offhand gripe about union bullshit at the site. Hinting at underpaid crews. Mom's slip about fudging the wine inventory. And Riley, oh. The gem. Whispering to Chad about borrowing from Dad's safe again. Just till the pitch lands. Sleep evaded me. Replaced by frantic typing. Emails to Jake. Attachments of scan docs I'd found in Dad's old files, foreknowledge perk. A tip line for the SEC on Chad's coaching seminars, borderline fraud. I'd bet my rebirth on it. And for Riley, a subtle LinkedIn connection request from a fake profile, investor interested in female-led startups. She'd bite. She always did. November chill seeped in. Leaves carpeting Fremont like confetti from a funeral I refused to attend. My savings hit 5 figures. Ghostwriting for Silicon Valley wannabes paid shockingly well when you knew the buzzwords. I upgraded. A 1-bedroom in Queen and with a view of the Sound. IKEA furniture that didn't sag. Small victories. But they armored me against the pull of old habits. Mom's voicemails piled up. Honey. Riley's pitch is tomorrow. Come cheer her on? I deleted. But showed at the venue, a sleek co-working space in South Lake Union. All glass and ambition. Riley spotted me in the crowd, waving manicured nails. You came, she hugged me, stiff as starched linen. Chad hovered. Ty askew. Nerves jangling. The pitch, her app. Sip Sync, for tracking wine tastings, rip-off of Mom's scam. Basically. She nailed it. Voice pitching higher with each slide. Until Q&A. That's when I raised my hand. Anonymous in the back row. Question for Riley. I called. Voice amplified by the room's hush. Love the model. But how do you handle inventory discrepancies?
Say.
If dues don't match stock. She blinked. Smile freezing. We use blockchain for transparency. Smart, I pressed. Because I've seen clubs where the treasurer expands without receipts. Ever audit. The investor panel shifted, one guy jotting notes. Riley stammered, "Of course." Full audits. But her eyes screamed murder. Post-pitch. She cornered me in the lobby, Chad trailing like a lost puppy. What the hell?
Nova.
Sabotage much. Just curious, I said. Innocent as pie. Family supports family. Right? She bit it off, glancing at onlookers. We'll talk later. We did. Over forced coffee at the attached cafe. Chad excused himself for a call, leaving us to simmer. What's your deal? Riley hissed, stirring her latte furiously. Ever since dinner. You're different. Spiteful. Spiteful. The word landed like a slap, but I savored it. Maybe I'm just awake. Riley. Tired of the scraps. Scraps? You got the same as me growing up. I laughed. Low and bitter. Did I? New car at 16 for you. Study abroad for me. Community college debt. And Dad's will. Don't think I forgot the $2 prophecy. Her face paled. How could she know? Telepathy?
No.
Just the echo of timelines bleeding through. That's not Nova. You're twisting things. Am I? I slid my phone across, playing a snippet from dinner, her safe whisper. Her jaw dropped. Where did you? Careful what you say around family, I murmured. Or it comes back to bite. She yanked the phone, deleting the app in a frenzy before shoving it back. You're blackmailing me? My own sister? Blackmail implies I want something. I just want truth. Lies. All of it. I wanted her ruin. Slow and exquisite. But the hook was set. The fallout rippled. Jake's article dropped a week later. Whistleblower alleges safety lapses at local firm. Hale Construction. Front page of the Seattle Times business section. Dad called. Voice thunder. Nova. What the fuck? You talk to reporters.
Me? Dad. I'm flattered.
I hung up, blocking the number. Mom's Wine Club? My anonymous email to the state AG's office included evidence, screenshots from her emails I'd hacked via a forgotten shared password. Chad's seminars? A Reddit AMA from my burner account exposed the red flags, tanking his signups. Riley went radio silent, then nuclear, showing up at my door at midnight, rain-plastered and wild-eyed. Let me in. Nova. We need to fix this. I cracked the door.
Chain on.
Fix what? Your messes? It's you. You're poisoning everything. Tears streamed. Mascara Black Rivers. Mom's club is under investigation. Dad's losing contracts. Chad dumped me, said I was toxic. This is your fault. Karma's a bitch. I thought, but said. Sounds like consequences. Riley. Ever think of owning them? She lunged, fingers clawing through the gap. I hate you. Always have, stealing my spotlight. Acting superior with your morals. That fall? The stairs? You deserved it. There it was, the confession. Raw and ragged. Caught on the nanny cam I'd installed post-rebirth. I slammed the door, heart hammering, as her sobs echoed down the hall. Victory tasted like ash. Was this power? Or just poison seeping back in? Days turned brittle. Holiday cards arrived, and signed. From the family, with a photo of Riley beaming beside a Christmas tree.
Solo.
I burned it in the sink, watching flames lick the edges. My world shrank to work and war, more gigs, more tips to authorities. Jake became a reluctant ally, feeding me leads on Riley's desperation plays, a shady loan shark. Bounce checks. New Year's Eve loomed, the city popping with fireworks and false hopes. I spent it alone on my balcony, champagne flute in hand, toasting the woman I'd become, unyielding, untethered. But as the clock struck 12, a text pierced the night, not Riley, but Mom, Nova.
Please.
Riley's. Not okay.
Come home.
Not okay. Understatement of the century. I deleted it, but the pull tugged, a ghost of the old me. The fixer. The forgiver. Screw that. This rebirth was for me. January brought the hammer. Dad's firm audited. Kickbacks exposed. Leading to indictments. He lawyered up. The house mortgaged to the hilt. Mom's club folded.
Dues refunda Midlow Suites.
Her social circle evaporating like mist. Riley? She spiraled public. Instagram rants about betrayal, tagged with family first. But the comments turned vicious, screenshots of her old lies surfacing, courtesy of my digital ghosts. I watched from afar, a shadow in the storm. But cracks formed in my resolve. Sleepless nights replayed her stare confession, not as triumph, but tragedy. Were we both monsters, forged in the same indifferent forge? No, the betrayal ran one way, a river of resentment I'd only dammed, not created. The call came mid-February. Jake's voice tight. Nova. You see the news? Riley's in the ER. Overdose. Time fractured. The old me would have raced over, hands outstretched. The new?
Iset frozen.
The weight of what-ifs crushing. Overdose.
Coke.
Probably. Her vice since high school. In the before, she'd cleaned up after my death, playing martyr at NA meetings.
Now?
My handiwork. I drove anyway, the Civic slicing through slushy streets to Swedish Medical. The waiting room reeked of bleach and despair, families huddled, TVs droning infomercials. Mom paced, face gaunt. Dad slumped in a chair, looking every decade of his 58 years. They didn't see me at first. Shadows in the fluorescent hell. Nova, Mom gasped, spotting me. Thank God. I nodded. Wouldn't. What happened? Riley's room was dim, monitors beeping like accusations. She lay pale, for dripping, the fighter stripped bare. Her eyes fluttered open, locking on mine, not hate, but hollow. You win, she whispered, voice rasped. Happy now?
No.
Not happy.
Just. Empty.
The revenge I'd craved curdled. A feast turned to famine. This isn't a game, Riley, isn't it? A tear tracked down. I pushed you away because you saw me.
The real me.
Ugly. Confession too. Unbidden. The twist I'd never scripted. As nurses bustled, I stepped out, head spinning. Rebirth promised justice, but delivered mirrors, cracks in my own facade. Spring thawed the city, cherry blossoms mocking the frost in my veins. Riley's overdose became the family's fulcrum, rehab in Palm Springs. Courtesy of liquidated assets, Dad's plea deal, community service slapping wrists, Mom's divorce papers, filed quietly in Reno. I could have danced on the ruins, but the high crashed hard. Instead, I poured into work a novel outline, dark and twisty, about sisters and secrets. Fiction, sure, but veins of truth pulsing through. Riley emerged from rehab in April, gaunt but glowing. Social media scrubbed clean. Her first text, "Can we talk? For real." I met her at a park in Discovery, benches overlooking the Sound, joggers blurring past like lives uninterrupted. She sat bundled in a hoodie, coffee steaming between us. "I almost died," she started.
No preamble.
"And not from the pills. From the hate I carried. For you, mostly." I sipped my Americano, letting silence stretch. "Why me? Riley? What did I ever do but exist?" She laughed. Bitter. "Exist too much. You were the smart one, the one who questioned. When I stole from Dad that night, 14, remember you didn't rat. But your eyes, they saw the fraud. So I made you fall. Pushed you. Hard. Then lied. Said you tripped. Mom believed me. Dad looked away. It worked. You shrank. I shone. The confession spilled. A dam broken. No recorder this time, just raw, wind-whipped truth. And the crash. I pressed. Voice steel. Her face crumpled. Jealousy. You walked away. Cut ties at 2 a.m. like you were free. I couldn't let you have that. Borrowed Chad's truck, no.
Wait. It was mine by then.
Swerved to scare you back into the fold.
Didn't mean the semi.
God. Nova. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
The word hung, inadequate as a band-aid on a bullet wound. In the before, she'd never confessed. Cops ruled it manslaughter. Probation served with a wink.
Now.
Rebirth's butterfly effect. My meddling cracked her shell prematurely. I know everything, I said finally. The will, the $2 joke Dad planned since we were kids. To toughen you. Punish me for being difficult. Mom's affairs. Dad's bribes. I could have buried you all. Should have. Her eyes searched mine. Haunted. But you didn't. Why? Because revenge is a hollow hunger. Because under the rage, blood still whispered. Maybe I wanted you to see it first. We sat till dusk. Words weaving fragile bridges. Not forgiveness, not yet, but reckoning. She admitted the coke funded her hustles, the jewelry frames to deflect. I shared the rebirth, haltingly, testing sanity's edge. She didn't bolt, just nodded. Makes sense. You've always been the Phoenix type. Phoenix.
Fitting.
As gulls wheeled overhead, I felt the shift, not absolution, but alliance. Help me end it clean, I said. Expose the rest. Together. Her nod was tentative. For Mom and Dad, for us. The pact sealed over takeout that night. Pad thai in my queen and kitchen. First shared meal without barbs. Riley had insights I'd missed. Dad's offshore account. Mom's enabler role in the bribes. We compiled dossiers. Anonymous drops to prosecutors. Chad? She flipped on him fully, texts proving his scam. Forwarded to the FTC. He vanished to Belize. Last I heard, tan and terrified. May bloomed with indictments. Dad's trial, wire fraud. Tearful testimony where he took responsibility, but eyes darted to empty seats, us. Absent. Sentenced to 18 months. White-collar wing. Mom copped a misdemeanor. Community service at a real shelter. Her wine dream soured. Riley testified. Voice steady. Painting the dysfunction without dragging us under. The judge commended her courage, irony's sharpest cut. Paparazzi swarmed briefly, local news darling. Heiress turned state's evidence, but we dodged. Lev's low-key. I finished the novel, querying agents under a pen name. Riley pivoted, sober coaching, her story weaponized for good. We texted daily. Cautious rebuilds. Coffee? Walk. No BMWs. No $2 bills, just sisters, scarred but standing. But tension simmered. Whispers from old circles. Nova's the puppet master. A letter from Dad. Prison stamped. You destroyed us for spite. I burned it, but embers lingered. Was this the twist, revenge birthing redemption? Or just delaying the blade? Summer heat baked Seattle. Rare and relentless. We escaped to the Olympics. Backpacking trails where cell service died and secrets breathed easier. Around a campfire, stars pricking the ink-black sky. Riley cracked open the vault. The will? Dad's idea. Yeah. But I pushed it. After your fall, he joked about it. I laughed. Said make it real. To keep you in line. My gut twisted. You advocated for my erasure? Not erasure. Control. She poked the fire. Sparks rising like accusations. I was scared you'd leave. Expose us. So I chained you with crumbs. Crumbs. The $2 symbolized more, a lifetime of measuring worth in hand-me-downs and half-truths. I stared into the flames. Rebirth's clarity sharpening. I died not just from the swerve, but from the slow bleed of their neglect. You almost killed me twice, I said, voice low. Stares and steel. She nodded, tears hissing on embers. I know. Rehab taught me I'm a narcissist, wired for survival over love. But losing you for real, in the crash I shattered. If you'd stayed dead, the unspoken hung, she'd have inherited my ghost, haunting her successes. What now? I asked. Fight it. Together. Her hand extended.
Tentative.
I took it. Callus's meeting, hers from rehab waits, mine from keyboard wars. Back in the city, momentum built. My novel sold, mid-five figures. Indie press hungry for domestic noir. Riley's coaching took off. Zoom sessions with burned-out techies. We pooled resources, a joint account for Hale Legacy Fund, scholarships for kids from fractured homes. Poetic justice, turning poison to purpose. But the past clawed back. August. A package at my door, the BMW key fob, engraved Riley's pride. With a note from Mom, sell it. Start over. Forgive? I called Riley. We drove it to a chop shop, watching flames consume privilege in a backlit inferno. Cathartic, but fleeting. September brought the hearing. Dad's appeal. Denied. Mom's settlement. Pennies on the dollar. We attended anonymously. Back row ghosts. As the gavel fell, Dad's eyes found us. Not rage, but ruin. Daughters, he mouthed. I looked away. Fall leaves turned, mirroring the turn in me. Invites trickled. Thanksgiving? Riley's birthday? We hosted our own potluck with Jake and his crew. Laughter real. Unforced. No toast to family, just to futures. Yet, doubt gnawed. Late nights. I'd wake sweating. The crash vivid, Riley's face in the mirror. Not smug, but screaming silent apology. Rebirth's gift? Or curse? Forcing me to choose between vengeance and vanishing scars? The decision crystallized in October. Fog-shrouded. Riley called. Frantic. Mom's spiraling, drinking. Talking suicide. Old patterns. New lows.
I drog to Medina.
The house hollowed. Furniture auctioned. Echoes in empty halls. Mom lay curled on the kitchen floor. Vodka bottle clutched like a lover. Nova, she slurred, eyes bleary. My girls. I failed you. I knelt, prying the bottle free. You chose easy over us. She sobbed, confessions tumbling, covering Dad's affairs to keep the family, enabling Riley's lies to protect her potential, sidelining me because I challenged too much. The matriarch's mask cracked, revealing frailty. Riley arrived. We tag-teamed. Ambulance. Psych hold. The works. In the ER waiting, she gripped my arm. This, us fixing her, is it mercy or madness? Both, I admitted. But it's ours. November rains returned, washing the year clean. Dad's release loomed, parole. Good behavior. We prepared, boundaries drawn, therapy mandated.
No welcome mats.
Just measured visits. My book launch, a rainy night in Belltown. Crowd of strangers cheering echoes of envy. Riley stood front row, eyes proud. Signing her copy to the sister who fell with me and rose. But the twist waited in the wings. December 2nd, anniversary of my death. Though no one knew. I walked Fremont at 2 a.m., street lamp pooling light like memory. The envelope in my pocket, $2. My own joke, taped to a note for the road ahead. Drive safe. A car slowed, Riley's rental Civic.
Headlights skating fog.
Get in, she called. Can't let you walk alone. I slid in. The engines hum a lullaby. Think we beat it? The cycle? She glanced over.
Smile tentative.
One day at a time. American as apple pie. Right? We drove into the night. Seattle's glow fading. Rebirth hadn't erased the pain, just reframed it. Revenge? A phase. Redemption? The real grind. Winter gripped tight. Holidays a gauntlet of guarded gatherings. Dad's parole hearing. We advocated for release. Not out of softness. But strategy, eyes on him. Leash short. He emerged January. Gray-streaked and gaunt. Checking into a halfway house in Tacoma. First visit, a sterile diner off I-5. Coffee bitter as grudges.
Nova.
Riley. His voice cracked. Hands trembling on the mug.
I.
The will. It was a lesson, not hate. Lesson learned, I said. Flat. You taught us values measured in dollars. We cashed out. Riley added. Softer. Therapy.
Dad.
Or no more visits. He nodded. Defeated. Progress. Prickly as pine needles. Mom stabilized outpatient. AA meetings with a sponsor who didn't flinch at her tales. We rotated check-ins. No enablers left. The house sold. Proceeds split 3 ways. Equal. Finally. My cut? Seed money for a cabin in the Cascades. A retreat for writing weekends. Riley thrived. Her coaching biz hit 6 figures. TEDx talk in the works. From heir to healed. Chad? Extradited.
Facing wide fraud counts.
Justice. Served cold. My novel climbed charts. Indie Darling turned word-of-mouth wildfire. Interviews beckoned. Podcasts probing the inspirations. I dodged specifics, sibling dynamics, universal poison, but the mirror showed truth. Nova Hail. Phoenix forged in fire. Yet, the undercurrent pulled. February. Anonymous email. You think it's over? Watch your back. Attached, grainy photo of me at the launch.
Time-stamped.
Paranoia? Or ghost from Dad's old crew? Grudge-bearing? I looped in Riley. We hired a PI, ex-cop.
No nonsense.
Trail led to an ex-employee. Stiffed on a bribe. Blaming us for the fall. Stalking. Low grade. Cops warned him off. Quiet dissolved. Spring equinox. Our first rebirth anniversary. We hiked Rattlesnake Ledge. Summit views sprawling, evergreens to Olympics. Sound glittering like promise. Picnic spread, pie, irony. Champagne, sober for her. To crashes avoided, I toasted. She clinked, eyes misty. And confessions owned. Down the trail, knees muddy, bonds solidified. But life's no tidy arc. April. Mom's relapse, bender ending in a fender bender. No charges but a wake-up. We intervened, impatient. This time, Dad stepped up, driving her, redemption's awkward dance. Summer scorched again. My sequel brewing, shadows of scraps. Delving deeper into the $2 psyche. Riley guest wrote a chapter, her voice.
Raw.
Collaborators, not competitors. The real twist hit Labor Day. Backyard barbecue at my cabin, invited the folks. Test run. Smoke curled from the grill. Burgers sizzling.
L'auteur tentative.
Dad flipped patties. Mom chopped salad. Riley and I on Adirondacks. Feet up. Then, the envelope. Dad sliding it across. Crisp. Open it. Inside. Deed to the cabin.
Co-signed.
For you girls. Equal shares. No strings. I stared. Throat tight. Why now? Lost everything to see it. His eyes. Weary. The $2? My father's joke on me. I passed the curse. Break it here. Riley squeezed my hand. Tears pricked, not salt, but sea spray fresh. We will. Not fairy tale. Fractures linger. Dad's temptations whisper. Mom's hands shake at bars. Riley's nightmares of swerves. Mine of stairs. But we meet them head-on. Therapy circles and midnight calls. Fall waned. Leaves gold. Book tour wrapped in NYC. Glitz fading to Fremont fog. Riley picked me up at Seattle Tacoma. Sign. Welcome home. Phoenix. We drove 2 a.m. streets. Radio low on NPR scandals. Cut ties again, she teased. Echoing the title that birthed this mess. Nah, I grinned. Tied knots now. Stronger. She nodded, turning onto Pike. The rusty anchor flickered past, ghost of first strikes. No stops forward. Winter solstice, full circle. Family dinner. Neutral ground, a bistro in Belltown. Toasts clinked, to survivals, to seconds. Dad's scotch watered down. Mom's sparkling water. Our wines bold. As plates cleared, Riley raised her glass. To the crash that didn't end us. Murmurs. Then cheers. My heart swelled, not whole, but healed enough. Outside. Snow dusted rare. Street lamps haloed. I lingered. Envelope in pocket. $2. My talisman. Now joined by a family photo. creased but cherished. Walking away at 2 a.m., once a severing. Now, a stride toward dawn. Rebirth taught, revenge carves canyons, but bridges span them. We're mid-build. Sisters first, family frayed but fighting. And if the semi-shadows, we'll swerve together. The end?
Nah.
Just the hook for Act 2.